Hello and welcome to the Inside Scoop. I'm Cooper, your host. I am so thrilled to be starting my podcast. This is, of course, my first episode ever, but I have had a dream of starting podcasts for so long. I literally love listening to podcasts, and I just think it'd be so fun to have my own and just kind of get to share with you guys who I am, what I'm here for, and I hope to kind of build a community with you guys and hopefully just watch this grow into something beautiful. Today is going to be a little bit of an intro episode because of course, you guys don't know who I am. You don't know why I'm here. So I kind of want to just explain who I am, a little bit about my family, about myself, and we'll get right into it. So first, I'll start off with my family. I have a very big family. I have 4 siblings, 3 dogs, and a cat. So my house is never silent, never lonely. We've always got someone around you all the time. And sometimes that can be a little much, but I do very much love my family and my dogs. One of my dogs I think I've had since I was like 6 years old. I am a junior in high school right now, which is hard to believe, but I only have about 8 more weeks left of junior year, which is so crazy because I'm experiencing junioritis extremely. And I can't imagine how much worse that's going to get next year. I'm thinking about going to the University of Arkansas. Go Hogs. If you are an Arkansas hater, that's okay. You're still welcome. But anyways, back to my family. So my dogs that I have, one of them is a golden doodle, I believe. One is a Weimaraner and the other is a Great Dane. And then I also have a cat. I have no idea what cat breeds are, so I don't know. But she's very cute. I am unfortunately allergic to her. I only have reactions sometimes to her, so it's not too bad. But basically my eyes just get super itchy and I'll start sneezing a lot, but it's worth it because she's so cute. And then with my siblings, so my biological parents, got divorced sometime a year or 2 ago. I don't really remember the exact date, but, they got divorced and then my dad ended up remarrying, and she actually had she had a child before. So now I have a stepsister. She is 12 years old, I believe. She is fantastic, and I think she's really taught me how to be comfortable in my own skin. Like, I do not have to be anyone else. And she's very good at, she's very introverted. And I think she's really taught me, like, if you're an introvert, be an introvert. That's okay. You don't have to be uncomfortable. You don't have to be anyone but yourself. And I think that's something that she's taught me. And I am so thankful to have her in my life. I know a ton of families, like blended families that hate each other. Like they can't stand their step sibling or step mom or stepdad. And I'm just incredibly grateful to have the stepmom that I do and also the stepsister that I do. So yeah, and then now I'll get into my biological siblings. Younger sister, she is 14, so she's a freshman in high school. She is great. I think that she has just gotten out of the annoying phase, so I think it's like, now we're friends. Now we can be friends. Now we can share secrets. We can talk to each other like sisters do. And I think that's so beautiful. I think that nothing compares to the friendship that comes from sibling relationships. And she is just such a light. I think from her, I always learn just to smile more because she lights up every room she's in. Truly, she is a beautiful soul and she's always smiling, she's always laughing, and I just think that's so beautiful. And I honestly aspire to be like that because sometimes I can be a little bit, sometimes I forget to smile, and I'm sure a lot of us can agree with that. But anyways, and then my older brother, so I am a middle child. So then, well, actually, of all my siblings, I am the middle child. But of my biological siblings, I'm the younger middle child. So, I really tell the middle children out there who sometimes feel overlooked, yeah, I'm here with you. But yes, my older brother, he is 21. He just turned 21. And he is a D1 baseball player, so he's obviously very talented. Um, and something I've learned from him is just work ethic. I think I've always looked up to him in that way, and I think I strive to just work as hard as him. And I think he pushes me and I push him. I think he also looks up to me in that way. And I think it's just a very good bond that we have of we're both going to go for our goals and we're going to push each other to be the best we can. He is D1 in baseball, and I grew up playing softball. I played softball for 8 years, so that was always something that bonded us, and we always grew up, my other siblings are not athletically inclined, so they don't really care about baseball, softball, sports, like those type of things. So that was always something me and my brother bonded over because I personally love sports. That is one of the biggest things that I want with the college I go to. I want to have sports games to go to. I want to be able to be a part of a team, so yeah. And then finally, my older sister, she is 23 or 24. Honestly, I'm not really sure. It's hard to keep track of all these ages, okay? So she is my absolute best friend. I truly could not ever say enough about how I feel about her. She is the most beautiful person inside and out that I have ever met. She is just an amazing human and she makes me laugh harder than anyone else can make me laugh. Like, she understands me, and I just think our relationship has just blossomed, especially over the past couple of years, and I look up to her so much, but I also know that she looks up to me. It's more of a friendship rather than she's my older sister, I think the relationship we have is so beautiful, and I think that I just hope that we continue to blossom in the way that we have been. And we actually planned our deaths so that we can die together because neither want to live without the other one. And I think that is a testament to how close we are. And we're actually starting a book club, me and her. We're just doing a little book club together, reading the same book and kind of like taking notes on each chapter so that we can, I don't know, just be doing something together since she doesn't live in the house anymore. We don't see each other every day. So I think it's just something that we can bond over and kind of stay close, I guess. But I'm super, super excited about that. I am a big reader, and recently I've discovered Frida McFadden. And guys, if you have not read a Frida McFadden book, you need to, because it is fantastic. She has me on the edge of my seat. Like, it's genuinely crazy. And the plot twists, like, you can maybe guess one plot twist, but guess what? She has 5, And it's just, I'm a reader where it's like, I like to get into it. Like, I don't like to mess around, read 100 pages before it gets into something good. No, I like to just dive right into it, and it's already getting juicy. And that's exactly what her books do. I just finished Ward D. That was my first one, and then yesterday I finished Never Lie, and both of those were genuinely so good. I like to journal a lot, and in my journal, I'm like logging all the books that I'm reading this year. And both of those I rated a 10 out of 10. And honestly, I might have to make my scale a little bit harder because I have a feeling that all of her books are going to be a 10 out of 10. And like, I just don't know. She's so good at writing. Breda McFadden, cheers to you. You are a very, very good writer. And I don't know how someone comes up with the things that are in that book. I do not know how a human brain can physically come up with those things, but she did it. So anyways, so that's a little bit about my family. And apparently about my reading habits as well. Next, I kind of want to just talk about just what I want this podcast to be, because I think, every podcast is different. Sometimes people want to talk about mental health. Sometimes doctors will talk about doctor things, But mine, I think I kind of want it to just be real. I want it to be who I am, just put into video form. And as someone who's dealt with a lot of anxiety and perfectionism issues over the course of my life, my 17 years of life, I just want to be able to talk about my thoughts, my feelings, in hopes that someone out there relates and can feel seen and heard. And I just hope to kind of bond with everyone, us all, to kind of learn from each other. And yeah, I'm just super excited to get this started. I am very excited about the name that I've chosen, the Inside Scoop, just because my name is Cooper, but my favorite nickname is Coop. And I just thought that was so clever, like the Inside Scoop, and each episode is a little scoop into my brain, what I'm feeling, my thoughts. Like, I just think that is so beautiful, and that's exactly what I want this podcast to be. And I do want, whenever I go to college, I do want to study psychology. So I'm very into all of those things. So I think that if you look at the logo, instead of ice cream, it's a brain. And I think that just is exactly what I want. I think the logo came together beautifully, and I'm just thrilled to be starting this. And I hope to kind of do an episode maybe once every week, every other week, And if you guys have any suggestions about what you'd like me to talk about, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll read through those and do episodes on what you guys want to hear. So now that I've talked about my family and a little bit about what this podcast is, I want to get a little bit into who I am personally, because I think that if you knew me kind of in the real world, you would think that I'm a very quiet person, most likely, unless you're a very close friend of mine. I'm very introverted. I don't really talk a lot, but I find that I do have a lot of thoughts going on in my brain at all times. But sometimes I don't feel comfortable sharing them with, just random people in my life. But I think that sharing them with a camera, and maybe some of you guys relating to it, I think it's a really good way to kind of express what I'm feeling. So yeah, I have lots of layers to me. I have lots of passions. One of my passions is just deep relationship. I have a strong desire to build close friends, and with relationships, I am very drawn towards deep, deep connections. I do not enjoy those just like shallow connections that are just like, oh, we'll just hang out because no one else is around. I very much would rather be alone than in bad company, or with company who doesn't push me to my best self. And I think that's something that's so important to me. And I think that in this stage of my life that I'm in right now, I do have very, very close friends that I feel like have unlocked my true potential. And I think that's what gives me a drive to do a podcast, to do hard things, to do things that challenge myself because I feel comfortable where my relationships are at. And I, yeah, I just love. I love when friends can have a deep connection and deep loyalty to each other. Yeah. So another one of my passions is art. I absolutely love art. I think art is beautiful. I very much enjoy painting. I have been getting a little bit into watercolor painting recently. I got this it's a book and but it's a watercoloring book and each page is like a different vase with a different um type of flower in it. And I've been absolutely loving doing little watercolors and they're super small, so it's like I don't get overwhelmed with doing that. Also, I love coloring. I recently finished my first ever full coloring book, which is absolutely insane. I want you to think right now if you've ever seen a completed coloring book, because let me tell you, I haven't. And that's why I'm so very impressed with myself that I finished the entire coloring book because I've never seen that before. And I was proud of myself for my dedication. So yeah, I also love making little clay creations out of just I don't know what type of clay it is, but it's just clay that you can put in the oven and it'll dry. But I've been loving making these little magnets, and our refrigerator at my house is literally filled with magnets that I've made. And they're all different types of foods. I have Pop-Tarts, cookies, Cheez-Its, goldfish, bow tie pasta, so many different things. And I absolutely love making them because they're so tiny. It's so just relaxing for me. So yeah, really any type of art, I am all in. I love it. I think it's so fun and it's so relaxing for my brain. I find that when I am very stressed about something, I tend to drift away from crafts, in art in general. When I'm the most stressed, it's because I haven't been doing those things to soothe my brain, to just relax. And art really helps me to kind of just get back into the zone of hey, you are okay. You got this. And I think art has just always been kind of an outlet for me. And yeah, I'd love to, if you guys are interested, I'd love to show you guys some art pieces I've done. Of course, like, I'm not a professional or anything, but it is something that I use as an outlet for myself. Another thing that I am super passionate about is fitness. I have had a long journey with fitness and sports and health, and I think that it's very important to share my story about that because I did go through an eating disorder for about a year and a half, where I was underfueling, overworking myself. But I think that I've really found that sweet spot and I no longer judge myself based on how I look. This is who I am. And I think I'm finally comfortable with that. And I'm so proud of myself for how far I've come with that. And I really just want to share that with other people because I know that there are so many people dealing with these issues. And if you are someone dealing with those, I just encourage you to just remember that you are not alone and that there's so many people dealing with it. It's not weak to ask for help. You are strong to ask for help. I took a year and a half to ask for help, but the second I did, I had my people come and support me and just rally around me. Part of me kind of gets I'm always very protective over people who are dealing with those things like eating disorders and overworking themselves. But I think that along my journey, I've really found the sweet spot and I truly have a passion for running specifically, but also weightlifting. And working out in general, I am very passionate about it and the effects that it has on mental health. And of course, it takes the right balance. And I am extremely passionate about that, and I'd love to share more about that in another episode, and I can explain kind of my whole history growing up playing sports, getting into fitness, and what I've had to endure to get to where I am now. Yeah. And lastly, like the big things that I am very passionate about would be my love for Christ. I think that the only reason that I am here is because God was looking after me throughout all of those things that I went through, everything that I have gone through, and everything that I will go through. He has been by my side, and He has never forsaken me. And I think that's something that is so important for me to remember. And oftentimes I do forget, and I kind of just crawl into this space in my brain, and I think that I'm alone, and I think I get scared. But I think it's just so important for me personally to remember, like, you're never alone. He is right here beside you, and He's guiding you, and He sees you, He knows you, and He created you this way. So yeah, those are the things that I would say I'm the most passionate about. Of course, there are little things that I have that I just love in my life, but I think the things that I'm very passionate about are those. I'll just tell y'all a little bit about my goals for my life in general. I want to become a psychologist. I don't really know all of the details about what I want to be, but I do know I have a strong desire to help people, to kind of take a look in on their brains and maybe help them with something that I've been through, because I have had a long struggle with mental health, and I am on medicine for anxiety, and I think those are things that are so important to address, especially in the age of social media and just our progressing world. I think it's so important to focus on those things and to realize how big of a deal mental illnesses can be. And so that is just a big thing for me. And then I do want to have a family. I want to have 2 kids with hopefully the man of my dreams, which I have not met him yet, but he'll come when it's time. But I want to have 2 kids because I think that they can be best friends, and that will just be so precious, but also they won't absolutely break the bank, because if I have too many kids, then I'm not gonna be able to afford anything. And I want my kids to live nicely, and I cannot wait to be a mother. I am going to be like the beast mother. Like, my kids are gonna look at me and be like, oh my gosh, she is so strong. That's the goal. So yeah. And then also, I was recently visiting the University of Arkansas. I was touring, and I absolutely loved it. I love mountains. I love hiking, and that was a big appeal to me. And also the sports there are huge. Anyways, my dad, my little sister, and I took a little pottery class where we learned how to do pottery on a wheel, and I fell in love with it. And I am not exaggerating when I say this. I feel like I'm gonna be a potter when I'm older. Like, it's just simply how it is. I'm going to have my garage, have a wheel, have a kiln, and spend my life away with all my clay. I'm gonna make plates and bowls and pots and pans. Like, that is going to be me, and it's simply a fact. And I really want to kind of get into, like, if there's a place around where I live, like, do they have, like, I don't know, like a place where I can go and just spin pottery, and then, like, they'll fire it for me, because I'm not rich, so I cannot pay for a kiln right now. But yeah, I just, like, that sounds so fun to me, and I really just want to learn how to become a pro potter. And on my TikTok, I have ever since I did that pottery class, I have had so many videos about, like, all these potters. Like, they're just spinning clay and forming it into crazy things on my For You page, and I'm like, I'm so inspired. Like, this is so cool. And yeah, I just really want to do that. So yeah, let me know in the comments, like, what are y'all's weird hobbies, weird interests that you have? Like, what goals do you have for your life? I'm very interested to know. Um, I'm excited. And I'm excited to grow this community with you guys. I think it's gonna be a really fun journey, and I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun getting to express myself in a way that I'd never have before. You know, I'm not used to looking at a camera and talking, but I think it's really gonna kind of get me out of my comfort zone of like, and make me dig down deep for my thoughts and dig down deep into actually what am I feeling. And I'm just super excited for the journey ahead, and I hope you guys are too. And if you guys would like to follow so that you guys can see future episodes, I would be so thrilled for that. I appreciate that so very much. If this is not for you, that is totally okay as well. I am so glad that you stayed until the end of this episode. I am just looking forward to it all. If you have any kind of recommendations about what I should talk about in an episode, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I do have a few ideas myself, but if y'all want to see something, so be it. I'll do it. But other than that, I think that is kind of an intro to who I am and what I'm here for. I can't wait to do my next episode. I can't wait to just watch this become something that I do more often. So I hope whatever time y'all are watching this, I hope you're having a great day, great morning, great night. I hope you are blessed, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.